So as I said earlier, as we started, just type in your questions in the chat box and we'll pick them up as we get down the line. So let me start by asking both Anželika and Olga. I understand that theater in Russia still continues even during the pandemic. It's been closed in places like Britain, Germany, most parts of Europe, certainly in the United States, and even here in Singapore. And so what is the situation like?
В большинстве стран Европы, в Америке, в Сингапуре тоже закрыты сейчас театры, но в России они продолжают работать. Это корректно, и насколько сейчас ситуация, как сейчас обстоят дела в России с театрами?
Anželika, do you want to start?
Я сейчас нахожусь в Литве, поэтому мне сложно оценить ситуацию, которая сейчас в России. Но как бы там ни было, я думаю, что поддерживать работу театра все равно лучше, чем театры не работают вообще, как у нас сейчас в Литве.
Right now, I'm in Lithuania, and here everything is closed, but it's my belief that it is better when theaters are open and work to some extent, rather than they're just closed. Though I can't speak on behalf of Russia, because I don't know the situation there.
Yeah, maybe Olga, you could tell us, if you unmute yourself, maybe you could tell us what the situation's like, because you're still going over for performances, you told me.
Yes, right now all the theaters and music clubs are open, and but they only allow 50% of the audience. So they still work, and the performances are still going. Okay.
And Olga Lerman, have you been back to perform and do performances?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, everybody. Hi.
Really?
Yes, now we can play in Moscow. Before we had 25%, and now it's through its new rule, we have 50% to audience. And that is easy because theater can work, and it's mean that theaters leave. Because here in Netherlands is too, theaters, museum, everything is closed. We can just go to supermarket, that's all.
And does that mean, Olga, that you can fly back to Moscow to perform? Do you have trouble? Do you have to get tests? Are you tested as you fly?
Yes, I don't have trouble to fly, but when I back to Moscow, I need to get a negative test, and only after this I need to download this in special app, and after I can go to theater and work. And when I back to Netherlands too, I need to get a quick test before I leave, before 72 hours.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to fly, but for me it's easy because I have 2 passports. But in general, for people, it's really, really difficult. It's hard. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, it's absolutely difficult times. Listen, I'd like to move on really and get right into the center of what I'd love to talk to the two of you about, which is and maybe starting with Anželika. Can you tell us about dance theater? This is a term that may not be familiar to most people who think that there's the world of dance, ballet, contemporary dance, and the world of theater. Dramatic theater, comic theater, whatever, but you've really not so much pioneered, but you've been a real exponent of dance theater. Can you tell us what it's about? What makes it different from pure dance or contemporary dance or pure theater? How would you define dance theater?
Вы не могли бы немножко рассказать про танцевальный театр, поскольку в основном люди привыкли думать о театре и о балете, и, соответственно, о спектаклях, о драме, как о совершенно разных вещах. И вы совмещаете эти две вещи. Как вы это делаете? Расскажите немножко подробнее просто про вот этот концепт.
Я всегда мечтала, ставя спектакли, чтобы в результате они были живые. То есть, чтобы спектакль человека волновал. И мне казалось, что чистые жанры, и опера, и балет, или современный танец, они утратили в себе именно вот живое. И поэтому я, ставя спектакли, хотела, чтобы движение в спектакле было близко к движению человека. Поэтому через уже почти 30 лет, сколько я работаю в этом жанре, он уже, ну, я просто, это мой язык, я разговариваю таким языком танца.
It has always been my dream to stage performance that reflects life, life itself. And in my opinion, pure genres like opera, like ballet, like dance, contemporary dancing, and pure drama, they don't reflect life. They host this connection to life. So I always stage living performances that are very similar to our lives. And in these 30 years of my work in this field, it has become my own language. That's how I express myself.
Yeah, that's kind of wonderful. It's really staggering. And Olga Lerman, from a performance point of view, how do you interpret this kind of dance theater? Is it new to you? Was it when you first started working in Anželika's productions? Was it altogether new, or was it something familiar?
I studied in ballet school before, but of course for me it was really new, because after ballet school and before I started working in theater, I didn't dance 5 years like a professional dancer. I didn't do this. And when Anželika proposed me for this is a beautiful role, I was really surprised, and I told her that I'm not really dance long time. I stopped with this because I really hated this that moment. And yeah, and Anželika told me, you will not dance, you will play, because you're actress. That is most important. I don't need a ballerina here. I need an actress, and you can do this. And she really believed in me that moment. Yeah, of course, it was new language for me. Yeah.
And what about the other actors, if I may ask, in the company? I think maybe the audience possibly knows, but I'll just mention it, that none of the actors in this production are dancers. They all had to learn this new language together. Is that true?
Yeah. Every time Anželika told that, some people from audience asked her that people, they're professional dancer, and she every time say, no, it's actors. And people surprised, really surprised. Yeah.
I think it's extraordinary. How long, Anželika and Olga, how long did you rehearse this show? How long did you spend working on it?
Насколько долго вы репетировали этот спектакль? Сколько это заняло времени?
Я могу сказать точно. Мы репетировали 40 дней.
I can say very precisely. We spent 40 days rehearsing it.
40 days? You only spent 40 days rehearsing this production. It's extraordinary. I mean, it's so detailed. Every move is so extraordinarily detailed and refined. that I'm just wondering, from a performer's point of view, Olga, did you and Anželika work prior to rehearsals together?
Sorry?
Did you and Anželika work, before you began rehearsals, did you work together on the role?
It was my first time with Anželika, and yes, we rehearsed together. It was interesting story, because we tried to invite Evgeny Knyazyev. He played Karenine. And Anželika told me we need to make our duet between Karenina and Karenine, and we will show him, and we need to invite him for this role. And Anželika made choreography for this duet, and we show him, and she was like a Karenine and I was a Karenina. And yeah, but that was very good, because I don't know, it was just very interesting period, because I was so young that moment. I was 22 or 23, and she really showed me a lot about my acting profession, not about my dancing professional. That is cool. Yeah.
It's amazing. Anželika, so when you decide to do a dance theater production like Anna Karenina, what do you look for in the material or the source material that you're working from? And what other productions have you done like this that have been similar?
Когда вы делаете такие спектакли, как Анна Каренина, на что вы обращаете внимание в материале, что вы ищете в нем, и какие вы спектакли делали похожие на вот такой, в этом же жанре?
В театре меня волнует раскрыть судьбы людей. И наиболее интересные материалы в классических книгах, у классических писателей. Поэтому я очень часто беру известные произведения, потому что в нем больше всего интересного о жизни.
I like staging performances about life, so I always choose materials from classical pieces, because these pieces, the classical pieces, have the most valuable scenes about life and this expression of life.
Мне интересны отношения между мужчинами и женщинами. И я люблю очень наблюдать жизнь, и поэтому мне очень интересно настоящее на сцене, вот, чтобы зрители видели на сцене, узнавали свои истории. Потому что эти все темы, они до сих пор современные. Я ставила много что. Анну Каренину, Отелло, «Идиот» Достоевского. В любой этой теме есть... Они очень современные.
I like to observe life, and I like to show to people on stage what relationships between a man and a woman can look like, so the viewers can appeal, so they can see what something similar from their lives, so they can realize they have pretty similar lives. And I've done some performances like this, like Othello and sorry, Othello, еще что?
«Идиот» Достоевского.
And the Idiot by Dostoevsky. Right. And all of them have these issues. They speak about issues that are very relevant today too, not only at the era when they were written.
Are you, Anželika and Olga, are you at all, do you go see a lot of ballet and dance in Europe? Are there particular choreographers you like or think about?
Вы часто смотрите какой-то балет, ходите на постановки в Европе? Есть ли какие-то хореографы и режиссеры, которые вы любите, работы которых вам нравятся?
У меня есть свое мировоззрение, и, может быть, это может прозвучать высокомерно, но я сама себе очень интересна, поэтому я никогда даже не думала иметь каких-то кумиров. Я смотрю работы коллег, но когда я делаю спектакль, есть только я и мой спектакль. Поэтому здесь я люблю себя, понимаете?
Sometimes I go and see my colleagues' performances, but I don't take inspiration from them because I have my own picture of the world, my own view. And I'm very interested in this point of view, in my picture of the world, myself. So what I need for staging a performance is only my view.
Yeah, there was I think there was a famous contemporary production of Anna Karenina, probably by John Neumeier, director, choreographer, but it bears absolutely no resemblance to the work we've seen here. You can see that Anželika is drawing her inspiration and looking more back, I think, into Russian sources. When you work together, Olga, maybe you could tell us, when you both work together, what did she as a choreographer, director want from you? What did she bring out in your work and in your performance?
It's a question from me?
Yeah.
From what you mean? What Anželika took?
Yeah,
from,
like in the rehearsal room. What did she want to get from you?
Yeah. Because in general, it was like only Anželika choreography, of course. But sometimes I remember we had moment when I understood I'm so short. I'm just 1 meter 63 centimeters. And I told her probably I will walk in half of fingers. And I can be taller, and it's give me more like like adult figure. Yeah.
Everybody, I just wanted to mention to everybody that if you watch the production, you'll see that Olga Lerman spends most of it on her toes.
Yeah.
Because the other performers are so tall, it means that for 2 hours every night she's completely doing it on her. She's not on point. She's not on point like a ballerina, but she is up on her toes. Is that not true?
Yeah, that is true. That's true.
So, Anželika, what did you see in Olga when you cast her in this part?
Почему вы выбрали именно Ольгу? Что вас в ней именно зацепило для этой роли?
Если она не будет слушать, я скажу.
I will tell if she doesn't listen. She's gone.
That's very good as a director. Good for you. Okay, we won't go into that any further. One of the questions that we've had from the audience is, and it was a question that I was interested in myself. The Russian actor, unlike a lot of Western performers, and certainly in their acting school and in their training, are trained in what's called plastiques, which is corporal forms of performance and movement. And I'm wondering what that plastique training was like for both of you and how you understand that notion of plastiques. Maybe Olga, you could...
В российском подходе обучения артистов есть предмет пластика. Что это за предмет и что это за подход к обучению?
Это мне вопрос?
Да.
Sure. Why don't you start?
Я этого не знаю. Может быть, эти методики появляются всегда новые. Я, когда училась, я училась на режиссуре балета, поэтому у нас были другие предметы, нежели в программе у актеров. Но я хочу сказать, что я всегда отталкиваюсь от движений людей и перемешиваю их делаю их более эстетичными. Но самая лучшая школа — это движение, как это, боже, забыла слово по-русски сейчас. Язык тела. Вот, самая лучшая школа.
Well, I don't really know because I was
Которого мы все понимаем. Язык тела понимают все люди.
So I didn't have same disciplines as actors, but in my performances, the basis of my performances is body language, is the language of the body, of the movements that are natural for people. And I apply some statics to them. So this body language is really the language that everybody understands, all the nations, all people. So that's the basis.
Did that feel natural to you, Olga Lerman, when you were working? I mean, did it feel like it was an extension of your natural movements?
Yes, of course. I think Anželika took my sides too, because without this, I probably couldn't play this role. And she needs to work with my part of character, with my part of soul. I think so. And yes, of course. And she used what I can do, because if probably she asked me, can you do salto or 32 fouette? Probably I couldn't do this, because it's not my world now.
Yeah. Did you? I'm just wondering. Did you ever feel that you needed the language, spoken language, or did you find a language in the movement, all of a sudden turning your body into a kind of a speaking body, to capture the moods of the character, the depth of the character, the anguish of the character, the love of the character, the joy, her infatuation? Yeah.
I think in this show, it's like, it's the rules of this show. You don't have a word, you don't have a text, you have only your moving language, and I need to use this. And I never had feeling that I want to speak in this show. I never did this, and because for me it's enough what I have. Every moving what we have in our choreography, it's completely, for me, it's completely full information for what I want to say to audience.
Yeah, one of the questions that the chat has raised quite quickly is who you think Anna Karenina is, and what character traits or even flaws that she has that you managed to find in doing her the way you did. Do you have to discover those things through the dance or through the movement?
she's a woman. She's
Yeah.
a woman like every woman which I see here, and she's a very sensitive woman, and woman who really like a fire, because for her it's really important. If she loves, she loves. If she hates, she hates. She doesn't have some part of like a half of character. No, she's very strong with her feeling, and she's very strong with her wishes.
Yeah.
Because she died.
Yeah. I'm wondering, Anželika, did the director in you, the theater director in you, stop performers from doing certain things or ask them to change or go in a different direction in terms of their character portrayal?
Как режиссер, вы просите в какой-то момент актеров поменять что-то, что они делают, остановиться, не делать то, что они, не знаю, делают или хотят сделать, как-то поменять их, то, что они делают вот прямо сейчас, то, что они чувствуют, как что должно быть сделано.
Не очень поняла вопрос.
То есть, когда вы ставите что-то, и если у актера есть какая-то мысль, то есть вы меняете что-то в этом или
я
нет?
поняла. Ну, я вообще не очень люблю сотрудничать с артистами, потому что я знаю, что я хочу сделать, и я диктую, но я так привыкла, потому что я прихожу, я знаю, что должно быть. И это такой уже диалог происходит только тогда, если он происходит в принципе с артистом. Потому что если он творческая личность. Вот. У нас с Олей был, я думаю, очень хороший диалог, потому что, возвращаясь к тому, какая она артистка, она, конечно, она имеет характер, и она творческий человек, творчески мыслящая, поэтому мы могли с ней обсуждать многое во время репетиций, но я не всегда это люблю.
Usually I have a very precise vision, so I just tell the actors what to do. But when the actor is an artistic person and a very talented artistic person like Olga is, we can have a dialogue, but it's a rare thing, really.
Yeah, okay, fine. Yeah, good. Listen, we're getting a lot of questions that anticipate the next question I was going to ask, which is a lot of people want to know about the music and asked if you would talk a bit about the music. So, because I think everybody should know too that Anželika really kind of scored this production with various pieces of music. So there's the music by Alfred Schnittke. There's also some Tchaikovsky, and then some Mahler comes in at various moments. So Anželika, could you talk about the music, why you picked the pieces you did?
Очень много вопросов по поводу музыки. Вы не могли бы немножко больше рассказать про музыку, почему вы выбрали именно Шнитке, Чайковского, Малера, как вы вообще выбирали музыку для этой постановки?
Основой спектакля является музыка Альфреда Шнитке, и только 3 небольших кусочка есть других композиторов. И я очень рада, что я нашла эту музыку, потому что я знала и раньше музыку Альфреда Шнитке, но я ее не слышала. И когда я была маленькая, училась в институте, мы проходили этого композитора, естественно, но мне тогда казалась его музыка как набор звуков. И я очень рада, что я ее услышала, потому что там вся нужная была мне драматургия.
Well, the whole production is based on Schnittke's music. Mainly, there are only 3 little scenes with other composers' music, and I'm very happy that I found this music. Of course, I knew Schnittke's music before, and when I studied, I came across that music too, but I never really heard it, never really listened to it as a music. And now I found this music for myself, and I'm very happy I finally did it, because it contains all the necessary dramatizing effects in it.
Is it made up of different separate pieces, or is it from particular pieces? The audience, I think, is quite interested to know, gives an idea of what specific pieces you used here by Schnittke.
А какие именно произведения Шнитке были использованы? Это много-много разных произведений или какие-то основные крупные произведения?
Шнитке написал очень много произведений, и он писал и симфонические произведения для оркестров, и для кино очень много писал, и для театра. И я просто слушала, и, можно сказать, все подряд. И видела сразу сцены. Мне было очень легко. Я музыку эту собрала за 3 дня. Потому что в ней все есть. Мне кажется, что он мне написал эту музыку для меня. Вот такое ощущение.
Schnittke has a lot of different compositions for orchestra, for films, and I was just listening to it, to different pieces, and saw these scenes. It's like if Schnittke wrote this music particularly for my performance. And it took only 3 days for me to find this music, to arrange all the pieces.
Right. And did you go into the rehearsal with a fixed idea of the pieces of music so that you would give them to the actors right from the start?
И у вас с самого начала была идея, для какой сцены, какая музыка, и вы сразу пришли уже с вот этим планом и сразу дали актерам этот план, что где будет.
Да, потому что я ничего не придумала сама. Там все есть в музыке. Музыка мне все сказала, как надо поставить.
I didn't invent anything. It's
No,
only
of course.
based on music. So
Yeah.
music was
Yeah.
was the inspiration, and music dictated what scenes will be where.
Yeah. Olga Lerman, so when the actors received or heard this music for the first time, you must have all been unfamiliar with it. It must have, how did you all receive it? I'm just interested to know how you heard it and what it did for you as an actor and what it prompted.
First moment, it was really difficult because, for my opinion, Schnittke is very and classical, you know, like he has a lot of cacophony in his music, but after I understood his music really like math. Because he has very strong accents, he has a very strong rhythm, and when you inside this music around 3 weeks, 1 month, 1 year, you really can see, wow, this music available. Yeah, that is beautiful. And of course, it helps to us. It's like music in a dramatic show or music in movie. That music helps us to give a more emotional. And I think Schnittke, he's very dramatic. He has a lot of pain in his music.
Yeah, I think Anželika already said it, but Schnittke, for the audience who doesn't know his work, did a lot of film scores.
Yeah.
So in some ways, he's kind of like the American composer Bernard Herrmann, who did a lot of the music for Hitchcock's movies, where there was real dramatic impulse in the sound, because you can see you physically on stage reacting to this discord. It's very discordant music.
Yeah, it's true.
Because it creates real dramatic tension. And Anželika, I mean, it seemed to me that because of that impulse in Schnittke's music, your organization of the scenes almost feels like a kind of film scenes. They go from moment to moment to moment with very sharp edits and very sharp cuts.
Такое чувство, что Шнитке дает вашему спектаклю кинематографичность, что все сцены идут прям как в кино, и музыка ложится также из-за вот этой насыщенности импульсами.
Я думаю, что это свойство создавать на сцене такие ощущения у меня есть выработано в детстве, когда мой отец разрешал мне смотреть телевизор, но я должна была все, что я видела, нарисовать. И у меня дома есть огромные томы рисунков, где я рисовала, не знаю, сказки, то, что я видела по телевизору, фильмы, я их рисовала, поэтому у меня есть такое мышление киношное.
In my childhood, my father used to let me watch television, but I had to draw everything I saw there. And I still have volumes of these albums that I was drawing with drawings from my childhood that I saw. Everything I saw in television, I had to draw. And that's how this ability to make cinematographic pictures, cinematographic performances was born in me.
Fascinating. That's very interesting. So let me ask you this question, Anželika. Do you, it's called storyboarding. Do you draw out the story as filmmakers do before you go into the rehearsal room? Do you draw out moment by moment what happens?
Вы рисуете сцены, когда вы готовитесь к репетиции, как это делают режиссеры фильмов? Вы иногда отрисовываете, прям...
Нет, я никогда не готовлюсь к репетициям, потому что это бессмысленно. Я знаю, что я хочу сказать, но когда я прихожу на репетицию, я все делаю здесь и сейчас, потому что передо мной стоят артисты, которые имеют свою энергию, и я просто не могу готовиться к репетициям, потому что только при встрече с живыми людьми я понимаю, что я должна сделать.
I don't draw anything, and as a matter of fact, I never prepare for rehearsals at all, because I need to see all the actors and the people and everything. My ideas depend on them. I have a vision, but I can never say what it will be until I see the actual artists. the
Oh,
performance.
right. So Olga Lerman, does that mean that when you're in rehearsal, and Anželika is like shaping it as you go along in the rehearsal, shaping moments, is shaping the action with all of you on stage?
Yes, I think so. And what's that most important, that she really trusts me. I mean, she gave me free. It's true, and
Freedom, yeah.
yeah, freedom. Yeah, she gave me freedom, and that is most important, because when director gives freedom to actors, actors can really open soul and really can do everything what you can. You can.
Yeah, great. We're getting a lot of questions from the audience, which is absolutely brilliant. So keep those coming in. And one of the questions, which was really in my next question, was, Anželika, about the adaptation of Anna Karenina, your version of Anna Karenina. You've broken you obviously aren't doing the entire novel. You're doing selected moments from the novel. It's really broken down into 8 scenes as I see it. Can you tell us about how you set about adapting the story?
Как вы адаптировали вообще роман Толстого к спектаклю? То есть как вы выбирали сцены, которые войдут в спектакль и которые не войдут? И у вас 8 частей. Как вы, в принципе, написали вот этот сценарий? Вы решили, что будет там?
Я не знаю, интуитивно. Просто понимаешь, что надо, что нет, что важно, что не очень. И я понимаю, что волнует, что должно остаться на сцене. Это все очень интуитивно, здесь нету методики. Если бы можно было бы этому научиться, может быть, все были режиссерами, я не знаю.
I don't have a method how to adapt a novel for script, but I do according to my intuition. I choose things that I see as relevant, and it's pure intuition. And if someone could teach it, maybe everybody would be stage directors.
Yeah, I think for everyone's benefit, the extraordinary thing about Anželika is she doesn't work with in this case, she doesn't work with a playwright or what's called in the European theater a dramaturg. She does all that work herself. She kind of creates the script. Is that true, Anželika? You create the script? You're not working with a playwright or an adapter of any kind?
Вы не работаете с писателями, которые пишут для вас весь сюжет, весь текст для спектакля. Вы пишете его сами, правильно?
Да, мне это не надо. Я в своей команде имею только художников, которые мне помогают в создании спектакля. Художник по костюмам, по свету и мой сценограф, который создает сценографию.
I don't need any writers because I do it by myself, yes. In my team, I only have designers and artists who help me with the lights, who help me with stenography, only this kind of thing.
Yeah, there's comments from the audience about the costumes in particular. And the way the actors wear them and the movement. Do you want to say anything about what you search for, or what you look for in a costume in terms of the material, the cut?
Как вы подбираете костюмы, с помощью дизайнера, как вы сказали, как вы, в принципе, это видите, как вы выбираете материал, фасон? Можете что-нибудь сказать по этому поводу?
Все мои спектакли очень красивые. Я люблю в театре красоту. И для меня это очень важно. И Ну вот.
I love beauty in my performances, and I'm trying to make my performances beautiful above all. So that's how. Но вы как-то работаете с дизайнером, который подбирает конкретно костюмы?
Ну, дело в том, что когда ставишь спектакль, уже в самой визии есть эстетика и стиль спектакля. И мне нужно только человека, который чувствовал так же, как я. Поэтому мои художники именно такие люди, и поэтому эту же визию потом мы разрабатываем вместе. И, конечно, они очень талантливые. Я сама так бы не сделала костюм или сценографию, как это делают мои художники.
Before staging, of course, we have an original visualization of the performance, and I have very good and talented designers in my team that have that share the same view as I. So I could never create such costumes as my designers. They're just very talented.
Yeah, great. Are they yours, and they're not people who are in the Vakhtangov, working at the Vakhtangov Theatre? They're Anželika's team.
Команда, это не люди, которые в Вахтангове.
Это они все живут в Литве, и поскольку я сама из Литвы и работаю как приглашенный режиссер в театре Вахтангова, и они также со мной.
Yeah.
I'm from Lithuania, and in Vakhtangov Theatre, I work as an invited stage director, and I always have my team. So these designers are not from Vakhtangov; they are from my team, and actually, they all live in Lithuania as well.
Yeah, Olga Lerman. We're talking here about the costumes, because you have a lot of costume changes. Are those all made inside the theater, or is there a department in the theater that manages the costumes, the making of them?
During a show, you mean?
Yeah.
I change a lot of costumes, and most of my quickest changing, it's 10 seconds.
10 seconds?
Yeah.
Wow, a whole dress?
Yeah, I just take off one dress and I wore another dress. Very quick.
Wow.
Like water suit.
That's fantastic. What the Schnittke question keeps coming up in the chats, and Eddie reminds us that there's no recording. The theater hasn't made any recording of the score for this, so unfortunately, you have to make your way through Schnittke's oeuvre in order to find the specific pieces of music that Anželika chose for this. Anželika, I just wanted to turn to you for a quick question. For those of us outside of Russia, we never really get the chance to see female directors, female Russian theater directors. And I know there are some working there. I'm just wondering, has it been hard for you as a woman to work your way up to a position of prominence in the theater?
Нет много режиссеров, женщин-режиссеров у нас, и вы могли бы сказать, вам было сложно стать режиссером? У вас были какие-то препятствия, поскольку вы женщина, стать режиссером?
Я была очень смелая всегда. И я не думала о препятствиях, когда была молодая. И только недавно я задумалась, почему так тяжело женщинам быть режиссерами. Они очень часто должны сделать гораздо больше, чем мужчины. Но я сейчас понимаю, что просто это мир мужчин, и мужчины очень тяжело принимают в свою профессию других женщин.
When I was young, I was very brave and I didn't want to see any obstacles really. But of course, it's a man's world and men don't allow females there easily. So it was quite hard. But it's only now that I understand that this situation is so.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's hard for you to go into any details, but I mean, it's extraordinary what you've managed to accomplish, because it's as much as I follow the Russian theater, I see very few examples of women, although a lot of younger women now seem to be entering the director's profession.
Это все равно потрясающе, что вы делаете, потому что довольно мало заметно женщин-режиссеров, хотя сейчас есть некоторые молодые женщины, которые тоже становятся режиссерами, но в целом их немного.
Я режиссер, потому что я больше ничего не
Listen,
умею.
one final question.
I'm a stage director because I don't know how to do anything else.
Good. Okay. Great answer. That's the way to do it. Just one more question for both of you from me before we turn to the audience's chat, which is filling up all the time. And that is, how do you both react to this production being on film? Do you think it enhances it in any way? Do you think the film can't capture something three-dimensional that we're missing? How do you feel about that? Olga, maybe you can start. Do you like seeing this in this way?
You mean a film what Eddie made, or
yeah,
film
or
like
just the film production, the filming of a stage production?
I think it's every time really, really difficult to record shows, because in theater, it's everything about energy. It's everything about speech between actors on the stage and audience in the sail. And I don't know, I think it's every time really different. But if you mean that make from this show like movie, like movie Anna Karenina.
The version that we've just seen,
Yeah, I think it's just really, really difficult. I think so. And you can ask about this Eddie. I think he knows more about it.
Well, it's Eddie who asked me to ask you, so I'm going to ask Anželika the same question. And how do you feel about seeing this production of yours on film? Because when you and I spoke earlier, Anželika, you told me you weren't really heavily involved in the filming of it because it was done by other people. But I'm just wondering how you respond to seeing it now in this film version.
Как вы относитесь к вашей постановке записанной? Как вы относитесь к фильму, который сделал Эдди? Как вы нам ранее говорили, вы не особенно были вовлечены в съемки, то есть вы не имели к ним особенного отношения. Но как вы относитесь вот к готовому продукту? То есть что-то ушло из этого спектакля фильма, что-то улучшено было в нем? Как вы к нему относитесь, как вы его рассматриваете?
Осторожно, Анжелика.
Мне кажется, что Эдди очень хорошо сделал свою работу, потому что, как Оля говорила, что очень трудно снимать спектакли, чтобы передавать эмоцию. Но в нашем варианте, мне кажется, что съемка очень хорошо удалась, потому что я спрашивала своих знакомых, которые живут в Америке и которые смотрели, ездили специально в города, в Лос-Анджелес, Сан-Диего, ну, я просто имею там друзей, у них спрашивала, как ваши ощущения после просмотра этого фильма в кинотеатре. Они говорили, мы плакали. Вот если они плакали, значит результат такой же, ну, это хороший результат, потому что такой же, как и в театре после спектакля. Просто когда Оля умирает, все плачут. Поэтому, наверное, мы достигли хорошего результата с этой съемкой.
I think it's a very good work. Eddie did a very good job filming this performance because I asked my friends in America who even traveled to see this film. I asked them how they liked it, how they felt about it, and they said that they cried in the end. So it's the same result as we get in theater, because when Anna dies, everybody cries in the theater.
I will just add that it is my favorite of our films. I really like this film. I think it's an incredible production. For us, it was a little risky because it was a dance piece, not a theater piece, traditional theater piece. But most important, I thought Olga was phenomenal, and Anželika's production was perfect. And I agree, though, with Olga that you can't replace live theater with film, ever. And all we're trying to do is just make it more, bring this type of production to a bigger audience, not necessarily replace live stage performances. And if somehow this production could have taken a world tour, I would have been thrilled. But in the meantime, what we do is just bring it so that it becomes accessible, a little more accessible.
Yeah, great. Thank you. The chat is full of admiration for the show. I mean, the beauty of it, people are talking about the power of it, the way they were really knocked out by it. One question interesting for Anželika is somebody's added to the chat. They wanted to know how you chose to end it where you did. How do you decide to end it and where to end it?
Вопрос из чата один из. Как вы решили, когда закончить этот спектакль? Как вы решили, когда будет концовка? Не очень, немножко странно.
Все написано у Толстого. Я даже не знаю, что сказать. Просто я не выражаю себя, ставя спектакль. Я раскрываю автора всегда. А у автора конец написан, подходишь драматургически к концу, и все есть у автора. Я говорю, мне не надо было ничего придумывать самой.
I didn't invent anything. It's all in the novel, because that's how Tolstoy ended it. So I just took it and didn't really invent anything here.
Yeah, and the use of sound and the foot stamping as trains and the physicalization of the world is really quite remarkable.
Отдельно внимание и похвалы заслуживает то, насколько детализирован вот этот конец со звуком поезда, с визуализацией.
В спектаклях других, вообще, когда кто-то ставит Анну Каренину, всегда всем бывает очень, самое важное и интересное почему-то, как же будет решен финал, как же этот поезд появится или нет. И, конечно, я очень рада, что я просто понимаю, что поезд — это люди, которые проезжают. Мы проезжаем через души друг друга. И поэтому как бы настоящего поезда не надо было. Поэтому это все есть в звуке стульев и в спинах людях, которые отворачиваются от Анны.
In every staging and filming of Anna Karenina, one of the biggest interests for everyone is how the train will appear. How will they make this train? And it's my understanding that the train, it's not the train itself, it's people. It's people running over or through the souls of people. So that's how I reflected it, through the sound of the chairs and through all the people.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Thank you. Yeah, that's very good. Oh, Olga, somebody asks and mentions that it must be an amazingly emotional performance for you to go through. Do you miss it when you're away from it? And how do you prepare yourself to get back into that high state of emotion when you've been away from the production for a while?
I can't say I miss, because I know that every month I will play this show, or if something extraordinary will not happen. But no, for me, it's like I just prepare for this show because I know one time per month I will play. I don't do ballet class. I don't like it. I just know that I need to be fit. I do yoga, I do kickboxing, I'm jogging, and I just know that I need to have a good form for doing this, especially because I'm 33 years old. I already started older and older. I will not be younger. And I don't know.
Yeah,
Just-
and you learned how, and for the film you were in, White Snow, you had to learn how to ski, yes?
Yes, yeah, that was, to be honest, it was really difficult for me, because I thought first moment that I really fit and I very sportive person, but my ballet back doesn't help me, because when you're a ski player, you need to be like a hook. And I was every time like a board for sausage, you know, because I can't have those for my back. I need to do like this, and it was really hard for me. Yeah, but it was very interesting experience for me, and now I can be ski player.
Yeah. Oh, that's lovely. Anželika, somebody asks, is there in Anna Karenina and in your production a defining scene or a defining moment that really captures the essence of your idea of Anna Karenina?
Тоже вопрос из чата. Есть ли некоторый эпизод или сцена, которая прям выхватывает всю суть спектакля, которая выражает всю суть его?
Я думаю, что спектакль всегда должен быть единое полотно, что одно переливаться в другое и быть важно, знаете, как и в жизни. Все важно, но и ничто не важно. Поэтому мне сложно ответить на этот вопрос.
It's difficult to say, because in theater, as it is in life, all the scenes are melting into each other, and everything goes very, very smoothly. So it doesn't have the most important part, the most essential part. It's just, it's like in life, everything is important and nothing is.
I'm reading one of the chats. I'll read it directly. The person says, I couldn't believe you could dance in those costumes, made into the ballet dress costumes to enable you to dance. And the facial expressions were outstanding, as well as the balletic expressions. And this person also wants to know about the chairs, and just thinks the work you did with using chairs was so extraordinary. especially making trains and making lines of people and those wonderful scenes where you create with physical bodies, the race course. So people are, this person's remarking on the use of props. Do those props come into the production as you're creating it, or did you know you wanted to use them from the start?
Когда вы думали про декорации, вы сразу решили, что они будут, ну, в частности, там ипподром из людей, да? Или вы сразу знали, у вас была сразу задумка, или вы в каждом моменте решали заново?
В театре я люблю пустую сцену и люблю делать действа только с людьми. Поэтому мне не нужны декорации большие, которые бы объясняли, где мы находимся, или меняли бы местоположение. Я люблю атмосферные декорации, минималистические, которые подходят просто атмосферные, как и в моем спектакле. Но мы же понимаем все равно, мы имеем дух и России, и имеем какое-то ощущение, ну вот это просто она правильная декорация, я не знаю, как это объяснить.
Well, I like to work with people, so I don't need massive stage sets and props.
Я люблю пустую сцену, скажите это.
I like the empty stage. I like my stage to be empty. So I need only very minimalistic props. I don't need props to tell the viewers where it is happening, because it is all in the feeling. And so I don't need very huge sets.
Yeah, great. Listen, we've had several questions or several comments about one of the other actors in the show, which maybe we'll both talk about, and that was the actor who played Karenine, Evgeny Neyazev. People seem to really love him, and he's the one actor, I think, in the show who doesn't really have to dance. Tell us about him. He's such an extraordinary presence.
Расскажите, пожалуйста, про актера, который играл Каренина. Это, кажется, единственный актер, которому не надо было танцевать. Можете немножко рассказать про него подробнее?
Евгений Князев очень знаменитый актер в России, и он очень большая звезда, он играл в многих фильмах, сериалах. С ним невозможно пройти по улице, его везде узнают люди. Но когда я приехала в Москву, я этого не знала, потому что мне нужен был типаж. И то, что Евгений Владимирович согласился эту роль танцевать, будучи актером. И вообще это, конечно, уникально, что все актеры там, и больше было, кстати, возрастных артистов в спектакле, но то, что они согласились экспериментировать с собой и быть в неизвестном себе жанре, это очень смело. Но это особенности русских артистов всех. Они смелые, и если им интересно, они идут и делают.
This actor, Evgeny Knyazev, he's a very famous actor in Russia. He's actually a huge star. It's impossible to just walk with him by the street because everybody recognizes him and asks for autograph and a selfie. But I didn't know that when I came in first. So I was looking for a certain type, and he agreed, luckily, to participate in this very uncomfortable at first for him genre.
Right.
Well, he, yeah.
Ну
And
что,
all
артисты
the
русские
Russians,
смелые, скажите.
all the Russian actors are actually very brave. So they agree to participate in a very unfamiliar genre like dancing theater.
Olga, somebody asked how you found working with Evgeny.
Good, interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, we help each other. We try to support each other every time. Yeah, he's nice. He started like a student, and that is most important for actors. I think that he leave all his suitcase behind the door.
Okay, all the baggage is left outside.
Yeah.
Very good. Had you worked with him before? Was this the first time you worked with him?
Yeah, was my first time.
Yeah. Another question for you from somebody. People are very interested to know, and I had asked you about this earlier when we spoke, about if the choreography is written down somewhere, how you remember it. Is it embodied in you so that even when you're away from the role for weeks or even months at a time, how does it just come back to you, the intricacy of the choreography? Is it kind of literally in your body?
I think so, yes, because I already danced this show 8 years. And if you wake me up in the middle of the night, I think I will dance for you. And that is, it's like text for show, because you remember this. You not really repeat this every day, but before show, you rehearsal, you start to remind this yourself, you remember this. Yeah, it's work like this. I don't know. I hope my memory will stay like this long time, that I will remember all my roles.
Because I also asked you about this, and another audience member is intrigued about this. There are no understudies for this show.
Yeah.
So if somebody is injured, they just don't play it that night?
Yeah, just canceled.
Wow, it's amazing. And nobody ever, it's astonishing. Nobody has gotten injured or hurt?
We had one time our young Vronsky.
This is Dmitri Solominsky.
Yeah, Dmitri Solomykin. He had the injury for his one leg, and we had another actor. He was like a double actor, but now Dmitri is back. Yeah.
I think the audience here will find that quite amazing, because even in every major show in Great Britain, of course, there's an understudy cast.
Yeah.
And most of them will never get to act the roles, but they still pay for an entire understudy cast.
Yeah,
so I think it amazes people. Listen, we're going to have to end soon, but I just wanted to ask both of you in different ways. So, Anželika, what's next for you? What new projects are you doing? What can we look forward to seeing from you?
Какие у вас дальше замыслы, проекты? Что нам ожидать в будущем от вас?
Я столько много, как на карантине, никогда не работала. И сейчас очень много, на самом деле, есть и предложений, и уже я делаю. Сейчас я ставлю оперу «Травиата» в Каунасском музыкальном театре. И сейчас одновременно вот происходит подготовка к постановке в театре Вахтангова «Войны и мира» с Римасом Туминасом.
Well, to be honest, I've never worked harder or longer and more than during this quarantine. So I have a lot of offers and projects. I'm staging right now балет тоже в театре Вахтангова. В театре Вахтангова тоже балет?
В театре Вахтангова драматический спектакль. Это режиссер Римас Туминас. Мы вместе с ним будем ставить.
I'm preparing in Vakhtangov Theatre a performance of War and Peace by Tolstoy. War and Peace, yeah. And also in
опера La Traviata, просто.
And opera La Traviata.
Right. Will you be doing any work outside of Lithuania and Russia? Will you do any work in Germany or other countries?
Вы будете делать какие-то проекты помимо, как в Литве и в России, может быть, в Германии или в Европе, где-то еще?
Я имею свой театр, и я заинтересована больше всего ставить у себя. И я люблю, когда меня приглашают, но я очень осторожно отношусь к приглашениям, потому что есть... Ну, я сложно соглашаюсь вот, работать в других местах, потому что я люблю свои правила. Это сложно иногда бывает принять другим театрам. Вот. И я выбираю только то, что мне нравится. Я больше всего сейчас жду постановки с прима-балериной Ольгой Смирновой. Она танцует в Большом театре, которая хочет себе балет «Идиот». Вот. То, что я делала у себя в театре, она хочет сейчас как бы перенести, значит, с артистами Большого театра, значит, и сделать эту постановку для себя. Вот. Мне это очень интересно.
My priority is always my own theater, so I have offers and I like offers from other theaters, but I choose very carefully because I like to do what is interesting for me. And right now, for example, I'm going to stage ballet Idiot in Bolshoi Theatre. It's the same performance that I made in my own theatre, but it will be performed there in Bolshoi Theatre. And this experience is interesting for me right now.
Yes, I mentioned when I introduced Anželika that she has her own dance company, and I think your sister works with you as well, doesn't she, as a kind of administrator?
В вашем театре работает также ваша сестра как администратор или ассистент?
Она директор моего театра, Грета Холина, да, и она моя младшая сестра, и мы с ней имеем мою компанию, да.
Yeah, my younger sister, Greta Cholina, she is the director of my theater, so we are co-founders of this theater.
Good, family business, good. Olga Lerman, what's up for you? You are one of those wonderful actresses that's got a big whole wide world in front of you. What are you going to work on next, and what would you love to be doing next?
I still work in theater of Vakhtangov, and I hope I will continue with this work, of course. And because I moved to Netherlands now, I'm looking forward about work here too. But now it's impossible because all theaters is closed, but probably I will find something in movie. We'll see. I really open for those things. And yeah, I learned Dutch now. I don't know, probably I will play here something.
Yeah, be in Netherlands. Tell us about the movie. Is the movie out there? Can people see it? White Snow? The film with the ski film?
Yes, because now a lot of Russian productions goes outside of Russia to Netflix or another different platforms. Yes, I'm sure this movie will go outside of Russia too, because it's about Norway, it's about World Cup, like world ship in ski. I think it will be interesting for a lot of people in different countries.
Yeah, well, good luck. I hope many wonderful things come from it. You're absolutely wonderful in it. Totally different kind of role. Totally different kind of role.
Yeah, we'll see.
Good.
We'll see.
Well, listen, everybody, especially our two guests, if you look at the chats, there are some nice messages for you in Russian there, personal messages. I think everyone has really enjoyed and really loved the openness and the way you've spoken about the work. It's brilliant. Eddie, could you tell us, is there another chance to see this showing, or is that it?
We'll extend it for another 48 hours so that Rafi's opening the ticketing up. So anybody who wants to share their experience and wants others to watch the film, they can go to the Pushkin House site and then can watch I think it's a donation type of thing. So it's pretty reasonable.
Okay.
And also, and then I guess the Q&A is going to be on YouTube, so people can watch it there.
Yeah, good. Okay, because I think I've seen this now 6 times, easily 6 times, maybe 8, and it's extraordinary from both Anželika's benefit and Olga's benefit. You see something different each time. I think it's like reading Anna Karenina. You see something different each time. Something else catches your eye, a different relationship, a different glance, because it moves at such a swift pace. It really does benefit from multiple viewings, and of course that's the great testament to a really wonderful work of art, that you go back to it again and again. So the performance will live forever now in this film performance, which I think is great, and in this extraordinary work. So please, thank you, everybody. I have to give them. Can't hear all the clapping, but
yes.
Give you our thanks very much for spending this time with us from all over the world. So thanks again, and we'll probably be letting you know when the next Pushkin House Stage Russia event will be. Or Eddie, do we know that? It's going to be the Seagull, I think, by our friend Butusov.
Yes, we're going to do Yuri Butusov's Seagull with Pushkin House next, and Mariana Spivak is going to be with us to do the Q&A with you, Michael. And I want to thank Olga and Anželika, both of them speaking in foreign languages. Anželika having to speak Russian as a Lithuanian, and Olga speaking English so that I could understand it. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And thank you, Olga, also for your wonderful translation. A terrific job and a lot of work. And yes, amazing amount of work you did there.
We have to, everybody should know that Olga KK, as we come to call her, stepped in at the last minute. So she's very, very poised, obviously very professional, absolutely wonderful. Good. Well, thank you all for listening. Do read, the chats are up there. Do read the chats. I'm sorry if we didn't answer every single one of your questions. I tried to group them together as best I could, but thank you very much. So back to you, Rafi. Is there anything you wanted to say in closing about any upcoming events?
We've got the next one, Butusov, will be our 4th to 6th of March. So keep an eye on the Pushkin House website for that. And we've got a couple of other theatre things coming up. There's one which is also somewhat related to Anna Karenina. It's about Tolstoy. It'll be about Tolstoy and his wife, and that's a sort of preview production we've got also in March. So have a look on our website. But thank you, Michael, again as always, for your brilliant question and running of this thing. And thank you, Olga and Anželika and Olga, the translator, and to Eddie for all your work in bringing this to us. So thank you all. And this will be up on YouTube, probably later today. So I'll...
Terrific. Thank you, Michael.
Спасибо.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. Thank you for invitation.
Спасибо всем. Спасибо.